Why is this not playing correctly? What the heck? Okay. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. I think we're live now. I'm not sure why it said that we weren't live before. Oh, there we go.
You hear us, Blind Hostility. Come in, Blind Hostility.
Hello.
Well, come in us, I guess.
This is a great way to start the show. Hold on a second. We got to take it all the way back to the beginning right here now. What is up, Fireflower gals and Tanoki flying guys? This is the Nintendo Fever podcast filled with mistakes that you never saw before because it was so heavily produced. We're the podcast that will cool that fever that you have for all things Nintendo. We are a weekly show now on YouTube every Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It may sound like I have a frog in my throat, but the truth is I'm just really choked up because I realized how good Crash Bandicoot was. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true at all. Thank you. Hi, Blonde Hostility. It's so nice to see you. My goodness.
We were talking to you for like 5 minutes there. And
yeah. I was wondering why you weren't replying too. I was like, man, I guess I really ticked this guy off because he's not saying anything back to me right now. Let's get through this intro because we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Holly, how have you been doing? My name is Matt, by the way, and I am the Luigi to Miss Holly. She is the Mario of this wonderful podcast. How are you doing?
That works. I'm doing great. Me and my red hair, aside from the frizziness, that's typical though. So just deal with it.
Just deal with it. How are you doing, Blonde Hostility? I hope you're ready for a fun-filled show because I can guarantee that it's going to be a interesting show this week, to say the least. Let's go ahead and talk about some recent swag. How does that sound today? Oh no, let's get. Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about recent swag again.
Yeah,
this is probably okay for anyone like listening to us, whether it's live or later on. This is probably the most confusing thing ever. This is like try number 2.
Yeah,
we talked for like 5 minutes and realized we weren't actually streaming. So,
Holly, do you remember the time that we recorded an entire episode and one of us? I don't remember exactly what happened.
Wasn't it like recording on Audacity?
It wasn't recording. We didn't record the episode and we were both in a hurry. So we did an entire episode, 1 hour long, and we wanted to make sure to do a show, obviously. So we did a show, but we did it in, I want to say like 20 minutes. I'll have to look up that
At least
episode.
It wasn't like 2-hour show that we didn't actually record and we were just chatting for what turned out into no reason. I don't remember that specific instance. I just feel like that probably happened to us at least 2 or 3 times.
Maybe, who knows? So anyways, on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Mario Party, but not just Mario Party. We're also going to be talking about party games. What I'd like to know is if you guys are interested, or if there's what is your favorite party game? Not only party game, but favorite mini game collection, or favorite game that is not originally a party game, but you play it as a party game, either with friends or family or whatever the case may be. There's lots of times where, I don't want to give any away because we're going to talk about that obviously later on in the topic part of this. But at the same time, I am curious, what is your favorite party game, favorite mini game collection, or favorite game that you turn into a party game whenever you play it with friends, family, or whatever the case may be. But let's go ahead and get into recent swag. Holly, do you have any recent swag for this week?
This week.
Yeah, this
no.
week. No. For today.
It feels today, nothing. Yesterday, nothing. 2 days ago, no, I'm just kidding.
Hold on a second.
Are we having technical problems again?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I said hold on.
Oh yeah, hold on to your train of thought. No,
I've got something to talk about next week, though, coming in the mail. So I know what it is, and I could talk about it, I suppose, now, but I want to keep everyone in suspense and make sure that we get at least Blind Hostility and maybe others back for another show next week so you can find out the elusive thing that I have coming in the mail.
Yeah, for sure. Not only that, but hey, don't forget to drop a like down there on that button below. Hit it like you would a question block. And then also make sure to share the podcast with friends, family. If you're an employer and you have employees underneath you, like you can force them to listen to it as like part of their job. I don't know if that's like legal or not, but you can try it and see what happens. But share it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever the case may be. We'd really appreciate that. I do have some recent swag to talk about, though. Actual recent swag. I did finally buy Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Holly's smiling because she's like, I've already heard about this. I already know what you're talking about. It's just
No, I'm just happy for you. I really actually that is the thought that I had in my head just now. Like Matt is just I mean, you're just like one of the biggest Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball, I guess. They're different things. One of the biggest fans that I know in terms of the games anyway. So and you like fighting games. Really exciting.
So, what's funny is I was looking through my collection of Switch games, and I have a ton of fighting games already. Like, not only the digital ones that I've downloaded, but I bought both versions of Street Fighter that came out to it. I also bought Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which is kind of like a fighting game. I mean, it's not exactly, but it is sort of. I bought this fighting game, obviously. And then I bought a bunch of stuff on the digital games as well. So it's just kind of crazy how much I've really enjoyed buying fighting games for this console when, like, for the Wii U, for instance, there was no fighting games. Like, I wanted to play fighting games, but there was nothing.
Pokken Tournament.
Yeah, I don't want to play that. That game had no appeal to me at all personally. I'm not even that much of a Tekken fan, so that might be why, actually. So I bought this game. I've been playing the crap out of it. We're going to talk more about that shortly, obviously. I also bought some NES games. Now, there is a local store that's going out of business. And because they're going out of business, I bought a lot of really rare, not super rare or anything, but I bought a couple rare games for a pretty good price, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reselling them. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them 100% or anything, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to, I don't know, I'm cataloging, building the collection, deciding if I want to keep, get rid of. I haven't made all the choices yet, but as I get further down the road in my decision, I'll fill you guys in on what games that I actually have, because I'd love to offer it to our audience before anybody else, obviously. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for the Wii U. I think that might be it, besides Smash Brothers, which is
Smash Bros. Which obvious.
Yeah, I count as a fighting
game.
It's a
given. If you own a Nintendo platform, you own Smash Bros. On it. If there was a Smash Bros. On it.
Very, very true. Now, I'm trying to think if there was any other fighting games for the Wii U that I'm just not thinking of. The funny thing is like even the Wii had quite a few fighting games. Like it had a Mortal Kombat game, it had a versus game. Like it had quite a few like pretty decent fighting games and stuff. But for whatever reason, there was just nothing that came out to the Wii U. I mean, there's reasons. We all know those reasons, obviously. But anyways,
because reasons.
Because reasons, exactly. So let's go ahead and keep going with the show and talk about games that we have been playing. Holly, you have pulled out some old back catalog games to talk about. So what kind of games do you have to talk about?
Okay. I randomly decided to start playing I Am Setsuna.
Oh. So not super old, but I guess was that a launch game?
It was a launch game for the Switch, and it came out on other platforms, I believe. At least Steam, I feel like before that. So kind of an older-ish game, and not like one of those games that's like a worldwide phenomenon or anything like that. It's like a classic backlog game. It's like that just kind of cheap little RPG that you have because you like RPGs and you think it looks kind of pretty, and but you just never get around to playing it, even though it's not like 100-hour RPG. So I've been playing a little bit of I Am Setsuna.
I Am Setsuna is a RPG that I think that some people, I don't know for sure, but I think some people could mistaken this for what's it called, Traveler? What is it called?
Octopath Traveler?
There's some odd similarities in the way that it looks. If you look at just screenshots, don't look at me like I'm crazy, Holly, okay? It has like that kind of interesting 2D, and it's not super 8-bit. My point is it is an RPG with like this old school mentality and look to it and stuff.
Yes.
In the same vein as Project Octopath or Octopath Traveler. And I just think that it's cool that there are... I think that they look similar. As someone that hasn't put many hours into either one of these games, I don't even own I Am Setsuna, obviously.
I didn't even make any visual comparisons whatsoever, or even gameplay, really. I mean, this is a game that like harkens back to Chrono Trigger specifically, but to me, like, I mean, Chrono Trigger is such a classic, and I played a good 10 hours of that game. I didn't beat it, of course, but 10 hours is a good idea to get a feel for it, and
you need 300
it's just
hours.
Very special.
I guess
you need to beat it like 5 times, get all the endings.
Well, then you need to beat it 25 times. I guess this is a lot more isometric than it is a 2D RPG, huh?
Yeah, and it's got 3D models. It's
so does Octopath.
Kind of 3D.
Octopath is 3D as well.
Nope.
I'm positive. No, it is not. It is
okay.
It is a 3D engine.
I'll let you believe what you want if it makes you feel better.
I'm gonna.
So I am Setsuna. It's from. So I guess it's a studio under Square Enix, or maybe Square Enix is the publisher. Either way, but the developer's called Tokyo RPG Factory. They also made Lost Sphere, which is a much newer game, but the same type of thing. And I mean, Tokyo RPG Factory is a pretty good name for the developer of a game like this, because it is kind of just, we just threw this together and here you go. And, it's a nostalgic experience for people who like those classic RPGs and things like that. But there's nothing that really sets it apart and makes it special. I do like, the characters and stuff. And the main character, Setsuna, she's so sweet and innocent that I can't help but like her, because that's the type of character that I like.
Now, is it anything like the Tales games, or is it turn-based? Purely turn-based.
It is for the most part turn-based.
Okay.
You can turn on, and I actually turned on this mode where you can have the enemy actions keep going even as you're trying to make your decisions.
So definitely a lot like Chrono Trigger, like you're saying, because that is definitely Chrono Trigger. Like the enemies will move around and they'll do different things and stuff like that. You will have to wait your turn at all times in Chrono Trigger, obviously, but the enemy will move and not do anything that affects the battle per se, but they will move around occasionally and stuff like that.
Well, for this particular mode, even as you're trying to pick your next move, they actually can attack you, but it's kind of it's almost like an extra level of difficulty. For me, I turned it on because I just want the battles to go by quicker. I just kind of want to, get through the story and enjoy it for what it is, and then be done with it.
A friend on Twitter, I don't think he's here, but Ben, a good friend from Twitter and a fan of the show from a while back ago and stuff. He at least got this game. I remember when it came out because he was talking about it quite a bit, saying that he enjoyed it. I think this is, like you said, this is a perfect back catalog game. It was a launch title. It's something that maybe has not held up all that much, or maybe wasn't all that special, but obviously came out during the launch window because they need games for that time period. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Any other back catalog games you've been playing as well?
As far as back catalog goes, not necessarily. I don't know if I should talk about Super Mario Party now or when we get to our party games section, because I have played a little bit of that new game that just came out.
Because I'll have some more questions for you. We'll save that. Let me go ahead and talk about my game of choice that I want to speak to about this for the what we've been playing segment of this show, and that is Dragon Ball Z. That is definitely Dragon Ball Z. I love this game.
That's what I guessed.
I love this game. It is so much fun. It's a great fighting game. It has a super fast, quick combo system. The super moves look fantastic. The animation, the visual presentation. It has a story that excuse me. It has a story that, as of right now, I'm just kind of getting to the very beginning of. I haven't decided if I want to play this hardcore online, if I want to play it, local, if I want to do the story mode. I haven't quite figured out what it is I want to do with this game. It's amazing in the world of online play, right? Before, and let me know your thoughts on this. I feel like online gaming in a way is kind of, and honestly, you too, Blind Hostility, whoever else is in the chat, let me know your opinions on this, because this is something that I've been feeling recently. I feel like the availability of being able to play a game online with a community of people to play with has spoiled me when it comes to playing games alone. I understand more why games like Call of Duty rely so heavily on their multiplayer component, and they will do things like not worry so much about their single player aspect, because good.
Me?
Yeah. What were you?
Oh no, I just for a while there I wasn't following you exactly. So, but now I get it. Okay. Reliance on online is very heavy.
Yes, and I kind of understand why now a little bit more, I feel, because a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, the computer is not all that fun to fight against. It just isn't. And in normal cases, fighting against a computer is way less competitive and way less interesting than when you fight against another human being, be it somebody you're speaking to right next to you or somebody across the world from you. So
Blind Hostility is agreed.
Yes, he has, and it even goes as far as games like Mario Kart for me personally. Mario Kart, on the Wii was my first taste of playing a game like that online, as I'm sure many people. The DS to a lesser extent, but I don't think the DS was looked at in the same way as things like the Wii and stuff like that. But like,
yeah, Nintendo was trying to get it to be this big
yes.
Wi-Fi
And
thing, but
I don't know. It's really interesting. Like back in the day, I know I say that sometimes, but honestly, like the story mode used to appeal to me to play games based on single player activities. Now, games that are online based, if they don't have an on, like Morphe's Law is a great example of this. I really really like Morphe's Law a ton. I like that game. The community has died so much that if I don't, unless I want to play bot matches.
What is with Nintendo? They promoted it like really heavily
but
2 times.
Yeah.
And that's like it. I'm like, Nintendo, help this game out here.
I really, really, really wish they would, because it's such a fun game. And I'll be honest, like I'm at fault of this because I haven't turned the game on in a while. So like, but listen, I haven't turned the game on in a while because I'm afraid if I do, I'm not going to find anyone else to play with. So I am both the problem, and I'm part of like my own fear, right? Like I am the cause of this to happen, but I know that if I get on Splatoon, I'm going to find a match right away without worry or anything at all. So I don't know. It's interesting about online gaming, especially with a community that's much larger than we've ever experienced as Nintendo fans, how that is going to affect things. I love hearing that a game has crossplay, because I know that we're going to have a much better chance of playing that game for a much longer amount of time. Matt, buy me a copy and I'll play with you. Please. Of Morphe's Law?
Morphe's Law.
You need to get more. Blind Hostility, you would like Morphe's Law. Holly, everybody listening needs to buy Morphe's Law. It's a really fun. I wish they would drop the price already. I wish there would be a discount. It needs to
If they did, I'd pick it up.
It needs.
I tell you.
$20 is not an unfair price for the game. I feel comfortable paying the $20 that I did. I feel like that game would have shined at like $13, maybe $15, but like getting it closer to $10 would have been such a good idea in my opinion. I don't know.
In Morphe's Law, can you specifically choose to play with friends and whatnot? Like, what are the options there?
You can now. It wasn't. You always could. You always could join a friends, but you could set up a room to play with friends too. Like that's always been pretty easy, and yeah, that's always been there. You can easily find your friends and stuff like that.
That's always. I mean, that's it should be kind of a given with online games, but it just checking.
It should, but sometimes it's not. Like sometimes it legitimately is not a thing you can do online. It's weird. I don't know. I just, it was something that I've been thinking about for a while, especially playing, Dragon Ball FighterZ is a competitive fighting game with esports people that play and watch this game competitively. And that's not driven from the fact that there's a single player story mode. That is driven from the fact that it is an online fighting game. And I really, really wonder if this game is going to get far enough into the Switch's culture to become that sort of fighting game on the Switch, or if that sort of thing is going to stay on PS4, Xbox, and the PC and stuff like that. I don't know if I don't think this is going to be the game that is going to be the first competitive fighting game on the Switch that's going to blow up. But I don't think we're far away from getting to that point. It's going to be Smash Brothers, but that's for a different reason, obviously. But I do wonder what that quote unquote AAA game is going to be that breaks the ceiling. I wonder. Anyways, so that's. Did you have any questions about Dragon Ball Fighter? Do you want me to go through
Dragon Ball FighterZ? Well, it sounds pretty good. Like, how accessible is it? Fighting games are like known for not being accessible.
All right. So this is a pretty accessible fighting game. This is really a pretty accessible fighting game because your general light attack, if you push it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, it's going to do an auto combo. Then if you do your medium attack and you push it like 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's going to be a combo. This is your heavy attack. Your heavy attack is going to launch them, and then you can push like your follow attack, and that's going to rush them. So you can do a heavy into a rush into a light or medium, and then you can do a swipe into a dash, which is also the combining of these 2 buttons, and that will cause it to do like one of your super combos. So like it's pretty intuitive, and it's also very quick to pick up. There's nothing essentially difficult about the fighting system, I should say. It's very cut and dry.
Okay, because I mean, if that game, if I ever saw it, I don't know, for like $20, which this seems like the type of game, because it's not a Nintendo first party game, that you might see like even a physical copy of it brand new drop down to like $20, $30 or something. So
Yeah, I could see it.
if I ever saw that, maybe I'd pick it up just because I do like anime. I mean, I've never gotten into Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z myself,
Holly,
but
it's
very fun and stylish.
I feel like you would love Dragon Ball Super, the new series that
Dragon Ball Super.
It's called Dragon Ball Super, but it pays off to know Dragon Ball a little bit. Dragon Ball is the least needed to know part of the Dragon Ball history, to be completely honest. Well, and that in GT, but Dragon Ball Z, like it's a great, it's a romping good time. I love Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and all that stuff. So, anyways, let's go ahead and move on.
Little anime lesson there.
What about you, Blind Hostility? How are you playing anything, or have you been playing anything recently that has been pretty good? No, we will not talk about Crash Bandicoot, so stay out of that conversation. I'm just kidding with you. I'm just giving you a hard time.
If he keeps at it, he might just convince me to get it.
One of these days.
Ideally.
Yeah. I'm gonna tag somebody real quick in this. Sorry guys.
Sure.
When you do a live show, then yeah.
You're spending like half your time chatting mindlessly and the other half actually chatting about something good because the listeners actually brought it up and they're smarter than you.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. Nope. My Switch broke. Wait a minute.
What?
Blind Hostility.
No.
Wait a minute. I sent it back. What happened? You are destroying my voice right now, Blind Hostility.
Oh.
What happened? Did you use a third-party dock? Did you use a third? My heart is breaking. It really is.
You know, if it's just because of usual wear and tear, like this will be the second instance of somebody's Switch just kind of
falling apart,
kicking the bucket because of regular use, you know?
Oh my goodness, that is absolutely...
That I've heard about recently. Maybe I hope we don't have like an epidemic of people's Switches just kind of giving out on them because it's been a year and a half or however long.
Was your Switch I'm assuming it's a launch system, and not only was it a launch system, but did it have anything major happen to it by accident, such as like droppage or anything like that? And the only reason why I ask is because I noticed that about a year into it, a lot of people started talking about how their Switch would get too hot and it would start to either bend or crack on certain joints and stuff. Has yours done that at all, Holly?
Mine has done that like a teeny bit, but in a place where I'm not that worried about it. It just looks like a teeny little chip came off of the cover.
That is a little worrisome, I feel, to a certain point though. Like mine isn't, because I had to get a replacement for mine. Oh, battery. He said battery drained real quick and right Joy-Con wouldn't connect to the Switch in handheld. My goodness. That sort of stuff is so scary. At least that means that they'll be able to save all your data. Unlike me.
Oh, yeah.
I lost everything. All that I had worked. Yep, everything.
We have her.
It's so sad.
A crying and coughing fit.
I know. I can't pick which one my bodies can do. Okay. So, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about party games. Let's get off the sad subject and talk about the party game stuff. So, party games, we know them, we love them, we enjoy to play them, not by ourselves but with others as well. So.
Yes, what games shine in that, like, people sitting next to you on the couch.
Yes.
You're having, in my case, Goldfish. In other people's cases, maybe some other things.
One of my first games that I can personally remember ever playing as a party game, now as an actual party game, was honestly, like, and this isn't necessarily a party game, but GoldenEye 007 for the N64. Now, even though it wasn't a party game per se, we played it like a party game, right? Like, because you didn't just keep playing against the same people over and over again. You passed that controller around. You made up funny rules and all this other stuff, obviously. So, excuse me. So that, those are those types of games that you can turn into a party game. What was one of your very first party games that you can ever remember playing?
Wow. Okay, put me on the spot here. Oh gosh.
I mean, I was talking about mine, so.
I grew up with a lot of older siblings and younger for that matter also. And so I just remember, I mean, Nintendo games were always just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the early ones are, the classic N64 ones. Mario Party 2 was a huge family favorite. We'd play that. I feel like we played that like every Saturday morning.
NBA.
We would tell ourselves we're going to do a 60-turn party.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't think we ever finished.
That sounds terrifying. My goodness.
Let me think. That's probably like a 5 to 6 hour.
That's like giving
Mario
your life
Party.
away. That's like
and go on.
I was just gonna say, like, that's literally like just committing to like, we're not doing anything else today, guys. We're gonna wake up and play Mario Party.
We're little kids on a Saturday morning.
You should be going outside.
Mario Kart 64.
Mario Kart.
Hey, we spent plenty of time outside too.
I loved NBA games.
Childhood.
NBA Jam, NBA Arcade Edition Jam on the either Sega or Super Nintendo. Those games I remember playing a ton of for party games and stuff like that. Fighting games have always been a pretty big part of my childhood and playing games and stuff like that. But then there's also things that aren't necessarily supposed to be party games, like mini game collections are not necessarily sold as party games, because the idea of a party game is that it has multiple people competing against one another to win a game of some kind. Mini game collections can just be like single player. Like my daughter has this game. It's called like 101 in 1 mini game collection or something like that, right? It's for the DS. So it's just a bunch of like mini games on one cartridge, and that's all that is. That's everything that's going on in the game and stuff. But me and her will take turns back and forth and try to compete for the highest score, and that person's going to win. So we turn it into a party game of some kind. Is there any mini game collections that you can think of that you enjoy playing and stuff?
Gosh, I can't really think of any. I mean, the mini games that I like I'm thinking Rhythm Heaven. That just keeps popping into my head because it's, a bunch of rhythm based mini games and things like that. But I never
did you play
really strongly We Play. Maybe like as a GameFly game back when I had GameFly, but I don't remember much about it.
Blind Hostility, you let me know if you played We Play, because I feel like everybody bought We Play because We Play came with the controller. Do you remember that?
So it was like getting basically a controller for typical controller price,
but you
plus
got
a game.
Exactly.
Well,
it was $10 more.
An additional like $10. So it was like getting a game for $10, and you also got a controller.
Exactly. So like I did that. I made sure that I got that taken care of. But you know what? We Play had a lot of fun games. Like not taking anything away from it. It was a very basic, simple system on all the games and stuff. But like I thought the not tennis, but what's it called? Ping pong. I thought ping pong. Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
Are you sure you're not talking about Wii Sports Resort?
No,
because that game I did get.
That game also had an awesome.
That was
ping
the
pong
motion
game.
Control.
Yes, that was the motion control one. Which it's funny. Wii Sports, We Play, Wii Sports Resort, all these kinds of games that were obviously like mini game, and a lot of people wrote them off in a lot of ways. I want to go back and play those games sometimes because they were so much fun. The sword fighting game in Wii Sports Resort, that was great. That was awesome.
Yes.
That was the ultimate decision decider whenever I was having a party with friends. Like we'd argue, we'd be like, I don't want pepperoni on the pizza. I want pepperoni on the pizza. It's like, all right, let's go settle this with
sword fight.
Yeah.
Not settle it in Smash. Settle it in Wii Sports Resort. Sword fighting.
This was before Settle It in Smash, obviously.
Yes, it was actually.
Excuse me. So yeah, there's games with mini game collections and stuff. Also sports games in general, I feel.
Okay, N64 had a game called NBA Hang Time.
Ooh, yeah.
Which was basically NBA Jam. I don't know. When I started hearing things like years later, like when I subscribed to Nintendo Power, for example, I started hearing all this about NBA Jam and how everybody loves that. And I started realizing, like, wait, NBA Hang Time is basically this.
Yeah.
So where did the hang time come from in that game? I don't know. But I played that also when I was younger.
It's because of dunking, just general dunking. If you liked NBA Hang Time, you ought to check out NBA Playgrounds, because that game is a ton of fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Wait till Playgrounds
and
2.
I got Jam on the Wii, NBA Jam on the Wii also.
And that was a great game as well. Also, sports games like some of the stuff that came out on the Wii, and I know we're gonna talk about the Wii a lot in this episode, honestly, because it had a lot of really good party games that brought people together to play games with one another, obviously. But Madden. the Madden games that came out to Wii, they all had like these mini game party modes associated with them. So anybody that like wasn't really too much of a football player could like get into like the game a little bit easier. They would have
Wow.
Oh yeah, they had a one
Sounds like my kind of thing.
They had a one controller system where you just held a Wiimote like this, and then when you were supposed to throw the ball, you would just go like that, and then you'd catch the ball.
Go
and then,
like that. You'd flick your wrist.
You'd flick your wrist, and then they'd run, and then if someone was about to tackle you, you just go like this to try and like juke out of the way. So
yeah, flick it to the side.
Exactly, okay. And then you could like do like this thing, and you do like a touchdown dance. I don't know if that's.
I just remembered we don't have like a super just like audio focused episode of the show that's just audio, so I guess we don't need to worry too much about our crazy motions.
Yeah, you're trying to like describe what I'm doing for the audio version. You're like, okay, Matt, you're flicking your wrist. We get it. But yeah, so there's some fun stuff like that. Were you ever a trivia gamer? Like, did you ever play like You Don't Know Jack or those kinds of games at all?
No, we had like an adaptation, I guess, of Jeopardy on the N64 also, but we didn't play that very much. It wasn't as fun as some of our other games, We're like 10-year-old kids. So.
I don't think I ever did either. Like, I'm really trying to remember if there was ever a time where I played a trivia-based game. Man, there had to have been something. Blind Hostility, was there a trivia game for like some I mean, I'm trying to think if there was like some sort of bizarre. I'm going to check real quick. I'm just going to type in trivia game for N64 and see what comes up.
N64. Well, I've played a lot of Jackbox Party, including Murder Trivia Party, I believe is what that Jackbox game is called.
Is that for the Switch?
Yeah, like all the Jackbox Party packs are on the Switch. I actually have Party Pack 2, which I don't think includes the murder trivia game. But
are those any good?
You haven't tried Jackbox Party?
No, wow. You are excited.
Oh gosh.
Good.
If you ever have like 4 or more people, and you can actually include tons of people in some of these games, like Murder Trivia Party, I think you can have up to 8 people actually participating. And then you can have I think 32 other people come in with their smartphones and be part of the audience or something like that. So or maybe I'm thinking Quiplash, but yeah, those compilations, they've got some seriously fun games in them. Wow. Quiplash for the win. It's like one of the funnest games.
I've never seen you so excited. I don't even think I've ever seen you this excited when we talk about Monster Hunter before. I'm
Monster Hunter, also a good party. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm totally interested in checking this out now. I'm just
so shocked that you've never really checked it out. Never. I mean, surely you've at least heard about it and people have talked about it positively. Right?
I know the name, but aren't they trivia games? Like for the most part, like are they trivia?
Well, they're different. So my favorite Jackbox Party game, and I think that there's a couple different versions of it. So there's like 2 packs that have a version of Quiplash in them. So Quiplash, okay, so there's people with their smartphones connected to this server. And then the game itself is
on the Switch?
On this, well, so they've got servers, I think. Like there's Jackbox servers. So you go to a certain URL, and then the Switch is what actually, gives you the game and shows you the content and whatnot. But your phone is like connecting to a server that your Switch is also connected to. And so the game will give you in Quiplash, gosh, trying to explain Quiplash. It can't be that hard. Okay. So it'll give everybody involved 2 prompts.
Okay.
So things like one of my best responses was to a prompt that basically said like, a funny title for a self-help book for mice.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Or, something like that. And you just kind of answer the prompt in the funniest way possible. And then somebody else has each of your 2 prompts.
Oh, so this is like, isn't there, well, there's an adult game. It's called Cards Against Humanity. That game's kind of like that, what you're talking about right now. You might not have heard of that game.
And then maybe not. Or, I don't know what it's all about at this point. But so in Quiplash, like you'll get a prompt, like after everybody's done answering 2 prompts, then each of the prompts in turn will come up on the screen, and the 2 responses that prompt had will come up and everyone votes on them. except for the people who actually answered the prompt, I believe. So you do want a pretty good group of people. Like I'd say 5 to 8 people with Quiplash is a really good number.
Gosh, okay.
Whoever comes up with the best prompts wins.
You have sold me on this game a little bit, so I am definitely going to be looking into it. And it's been a long time. This is why I wanted to have this conversation so badly about party games. I haven't had a party with my friends or my family for a while, to be honest. So like, it feels like I need some reason to like an excuse, right, to like go party. And like my excuse to my wife is gonna be like, hey, honey, I got to go play this Jack party game collection thingamajig. So see you later. It'll be all your fault, basically.
Yeah, just find out. I mean, Quiplash is a huge hit, and there's other kinds of games where everyone connects their phone to the server, and you kind of play games that way.
Very cool.
And I'm not sure what Murder Trivia Party's pretty good, and I think Murder Trivia Party and Quiplash are both included in Pack 3, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe there's 3 packs available on the Switch.
I think there's 4. Oh, really? 4 is like the newest one, and I guess every new one is going to be coming to Switch too from now on. So that's really cool.
Man, I feel bad because I had the opportunity to buy like this big bundle of those Jack Party games on Humble Bundle, like I buy pretty often games on and stuff, and I didn't do it. I did not. I could have got like the entire collection up to that point, and it would have cost
like $2.
Yeah, it would have been like $5 or something like that, and I totally did not get it.
Oh, well, remedy that for sure.
I will have to.
Whatever platform that you want, like the Jackbox party games are phenomenal party games. They're like on par with like the most classic kinds of games.
Never seen you so happy about this.
Pictionary. I mean, just like games that have been party games forever that aren't video games. What's one that I like? Catchphrase, I think is what it's called.
Catchphrase. I think I know what you're talking about. There is a game that we love to play at my house called Munchkins. Munchkins is coming to the Switch. Some variation of Munchkins is coming to the Switch. They announced that at the last Direct. I'm over the moon excited.
That's actually like a board game.
It is. It's a board game / card game. It's a card game more than it is a board game. The way it works is everybody has 8 cards around them. Then they discard and put cards down. Every time it's their turn, they kick down the door, which they draw a card, and it tells them the action that they need to do, and then they do that action, or they can draw another card, and it just keeps going until you get to level 10. So this is a game that could be heavily helped if it goes to a console-based system that will keep track of stats, attack, level, stuff like that. So me and my family... So
that you're not like meticulously writing down all the numbers.
So I'm so excited. My daughter is super excited. My wife is like not excited because that means that she's going to have to play it with us all the time. Because we're going to play it all the time. Can't wait for
So the Nintendo Power Podcast, the most recent episode for October, just recently came out, and they talked about Munchkin. At least one of the members of this podcast talked about how much they love Munchkin, and they're excited about it too. I've never even heard of it, but maybe I should look into it.
It is such a good game. It really is. Blind Hostility, have you ever played Munchkin? Anybody in the audience, please send it to Twitter. Say, yes, Matt, we know what Munchkin is, and it's awesome, because it is. Let's go ahead and keep moving forward with these talkings about. So Mario Party. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Mario Party, Holly. Tell me why I should buy this new Mario Party game that I don't want to buy.
Well, it's kind of a return to Mario Party roots. And in fact, so I played 1 hour today, 1 10-turn thing with just one other human, my sister, but that's good enough. We had a ball playing that.
Yeah, never need to play it again.
I'm having a game night with it tomorrow, so.
I'm just kidding.
It's a return to form for Mario Party, and it actually gave me Mario Party 2 vibes very strongly. Like there's hidden blocks. Like I remember when I'd play Mario Party 2 as a kid, sometimes you'd land on a space that's just a regular old space, but it would have a hidden block, and it could be coins, but it could also be a star. And if you landed on that, it was like the best feeling ever. So there's hidden blocks. There's like an opportunity that you can get to steal coins, kind of like Boo would do for you in Mario Party 2. And those are just 2 of the things that kind of made me think that it was Mario Party 2-esque.
So how are the mini games so far? How many? So you played for an hour, so you played what, 5, 6 mini games?
Well, at least 10, because we did a 10-turn board game, just classic board game. And there's a billion other modes. We haven't even scratched the surface of what is available in this.
You know that there's no board game online. There's just a mini
Right.
game roundup online, which was kind of
Yes.
a deciding factor for me personally about buying the game. If it had an online board game, I would have been much more happy to have purchased the game, personally.
Well, I don't know. The board games, like, they can drag even if you're playing locally. So to play with people online, sometimes people might not be like very willing to keep things moving.
No.
And you can give them a timer, but what if every stinking time they wait for that timer to run out? And I don't know. It could be really tedious. And the board game aspects are like I was going to say, like the mini games that we played. I could mention a few of them, what they were like specifically.
Yeah.
But every time we played a mini game, there was much giggling happening, and it was super fun. The mini games are the best part of Mario Party. I mean, it's good to have kind of some structure to like have a purpose to sit down and have a game night, but the mini games are where it's at. And so I don't mind that at all, actually. The fact that there is an online component at all, I'm pretty thrilled about. So
I'll be interested to hear after you've had the game for a while and you've played multiple board games with it to give some like feedback about your favorite mini game, the mini games that you don't like in it, and just kind of the random stuff like that. I don't think I have any other questions per se about it. I'm happy you got it and are probably going to enjoy it because from the times that me and you have been talking throughout the 2.5 years we've been doing the show and stuff like that, like you like these kinds of games and you've always been a big proponent of it. I can't remember.
Yeah,
did you
I love
like
having game nights?
You did not like the 3DS version of Mario Party, if I remember correctly, but you did play it occasionally with your sister. Wasn't that it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I could.
Because you exactly, yeah, and I did the same thing with my daughter on a trip that we took in a car because we didn't have to have two carts for it, so it was great. It was awesome. But I want to talk about a couple specific party games that I love, mini game collections or party games, however you want to put it. Did you ever play Boom Blocks for the Wii?
No, heard about it. Was that the one partially developed or at least produced by Steven Spielberg?
Yes. Oh my! This is a classic.
I definitely heard about it.
Oh, this is a classic Wii game. It's Jenga mixed with explosions. You would build structures. You'd throw things at structures. You would do puzzles. Oh my gosh, it was
Is that
great.
how Jenga works?
Well, I mean, no, it had Jenga elements in it, but you would also just throw stuff at the screen to make big explosions and stuff. And then Boom Blocks Party, the sequel, which was also a riot of a good game. I cannot believe that you have not played these games. They're so good.
There's so much shock happening in this episode. It's like we've never talked about party games before. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think we've ever talked about party games before.
I guess not. But I'm amazed that you've never played Boom Blocks, especially because you're a Nintendo fan. That's the other reason is it's not first party, quote unquote, but it is a first party-esque type game.
Well, I mean, the Wii era, I was at a place where I would have like a summer job and stuff.
Stop being so responsible.
Wasn't making a whole lot of money. I was in high school. What? Make an excuse.
Stop being so responsible is what I said.
Oh.
Blow your money on video games.
I bought games. I bought games with that money. I just had to be very selective, you know.
Yeah. We know you're picky. No, so, I'm kidding.
I guess I could go back. Why don't they just re-release the dang thing or something like that?
Honestly, it would be a game that I would love them to do some sort of HD remake for because they have the ability in the pointer with the one controller. Well, both controllers have the ability to be motion sensible. Do you have World of Goo?
Yes, I do. I've played that a little bit. I know the concept of it.
Have you played it with pointer controls?
A little bit.
So both.
That's what I own it on is Wii.
No, I was talking about. So World of Goo is on the Switch.
Yeah,
and that's what
I own
I
it
bought
on
it.
Wii though.
So that's what I bought it on.
Oh wow!
The Switch, and the Switch, you have the ability to use the motion controls, and it's on both of the controllers because it's not finding the pointer; it's finding the actual gyroscope inside of it. So this is a game.
Well, that kind of limits it in a way. Like the pointer controls, like they just have a different feel to them.
Yeah.
You know, like I played Metroid Prime, you know, the Wii version of it. Because the pointer controls with the sensor bar having to be there, that worked for that. But I don't think that just the gyro alone would work that well for Metroid Prime. I'm not sure.
It works
for Splatoon though. Now that I think about it,
do you play with the motion controls on Splatoon?
Yeah, always.
I never do. Never ever.
That's weird.
You're
I love
weird.
them. I can't,
You're weird.
I can't stand moving to analog. But more on Boom Blocks.
Okay, more on Boom Blocks. So I think it'd work really well because the gyro controls work well in World of Goo. That's all I was trying to say. So I think they could do it. I think that'd be really cool to actually see a revisit to that IP. I also want to talk about WarioWare. I mean, what other game is better besides Mario Party when it comes to being a party game involving mini games that are just crazy and just absolutely like WarioWare with the mini games are a little bit harder to deal with when it comes to this sort of thing. But did you play Smooth Moves?
No, I've only played WarioWare games like twice in my life.
What?
The first time I ever played WarioWare. So I was at a friend's house because she owned it. It was my first time ever. I didn't even know what the whole concept was. Micro games, that was totally foreign to me.
Oh.
So I'm playing this game on GameCube and I'm like killing it, man. I'm like beating all these mini games and I'm like not even trying that hard. And I'm like, I'm such a great gamer. This is like in junior high.
I should be a professional. I should podcast about this.
I was feeling so good about my skills at WarioWare, whatever came out on the GameCube. And I kept looking back at my friend. She's sitting behind me. And I kept looking back at her being like, Brittany, look at this. I'm killing it. I'm doing so good. And then things start feeling a little off. And I finally find out, probably 5-10 minutes into this, that she's controlling it. She snuck in her controller into the port that I thought my controller was in.
She's pulled. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
And she was just, killing all these mini games and stuff. I mean, I started having my doubts.
That's a great April Fool's joke to play on somebody. Just be like, hey, do you want to play this really hard game that nobody can beat? That's awesome.
She just pulled it off so seamless. I don't even know how she managed that. Maybe I had to take a bathroom break or something and I came back and stuff and was all like, okay, let me play this new game that we got. And
so you never played Game & Wario?
No.
Oh man, Game & Wario is a pretty fun game and I'm sure you can probably get it for free.
Wait, was that on Game Boy Advance?
That was on Wii U.
Oh, Wii U. Okay.
Yes, that's a really fun. There's one mode that's really really good. It's a not charades. It's a game where you're trying to sneak around so that other people don't know who you are and you're trying to blend into the crowd. So one person is the hider. It's like a hide and seek type game. Think of it like that. So one person is the hider, and then everybody has to turn around, and the hider goes into the game, and then everyone turns around again. And then the hider is just kind of you're trying to blend into everybody that's already on the screen because there's it's like a screen with a bunch of characters on the screen and stuff like that. So what you're doing is you're trying to blend in with everybody, and by blending in with everybody, that means walk like them, act like them, and then at the end of the 2 minutes, everybody makes a guess who they think the hider was by saying this person. It looked like this person was the hider, trying to guess who you were basically. That's a really fun mode. It's a really that is one of the most interesting ways to use the Wii U controller because you used it to try and navigate this scene of people and stuff like that. Look that game up. I think you would really really like it.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I bet you can get that game for a nickel. Honestly, so yeah. Go buy that game.
I think so. That kind of makes me think of Nintendo Land. Not anything specific from Nintendo Land, but as a party game. Nintendo Land was decent.
Mario
Chase, yes. Yeah. That one was excellent. And it was the gamepad did offer, because of that, what did they call it? Asymmetrical gameplay.
Yes.
The person who's looking at the gamepad, they're the only one who can see what's on the gamepad unless the other players are leaning in.
Yeah.
And so they came up with some really great ideas in Nintendo Land. Our personal favorite, as in every party goer that I've ever had come to my parties, our collective favorite was easily the Animal Crossing candy game, though. It was a ball. Every dang time we played it, it was such a ball.
I mean, you can't help but smile. You can't help but yell, scream, laugh. All those emotions go on during Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land gets a bad rap, I think, honestly, because it wasn't Wii Sports, but in a lot of ways, it was better than Wii Sports. It legitimately was. Each of the mini games were far more fleshed out than the Wii Sports games were.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah, I mean, the Zelda game, the Metroid game, the Animal Crossing, Mario, the Yoshi game, even the Balloon
The
World
one player games I thought were very weak, personally. But
I thought they were what they needed to be.
that's a little off topic because I mean we're talking party games. Nintendo Land as a party game though, the multiplayer games very excellent. The Luigi's Mansion one, like all of the competitive
yes, all the competitive ones
games
were great.
were just a ball for parties. Lots of screaming. Everyone just loved coming and playing the Luigi's Mansion one and listening to me scream when the ghost caught me or whatever it was. Even when the ghost got close to me and my controller's vibrating more and more, I would start like squealing and
That's great. That's hilarious. I don't know. There's a couple more games I wanted to talk about if we wanted to. Just games like Just Dance. I'm not a fan of Just Dance games, but I know that they are worldly popular all over the world. They're so popular, Holly. They're so popular.
I like them well enough. I mean, it's not my favorite party game ever.
They're still coming to the Wii.
To the Wii. Yeah.
That's pretty popular. that is very, very popular. That's surprising.
That's weird. Everyone's all like, let the 3DS die already. It's all like, why aren't you saying that to Ubisoft about the Wii?
Yeah.
Like, come on, Ubisoft, the Wii die already.
Ubisoft, it's dead. Stop. Ubisoft, stop it. It's dead already. It's not moving. Stop, Ubisoft, stop. I think it's crazy that we're still seeing Just Dance come to the Wii and stuff like that. I never got into it. My kids like to play
popular series though.
Yeah,
and I like to play it once in a while too. Puppet Master mode on the Wii U editions of that.
Never played
where the person holding the gamepad got to choose the dance moves.
Oh, that's kind
for everyone dancing. That was actually legit fun.
I would just do the hype over and over again like that. I would just make everybody just do this all day. Just can you pick something else?
If you like a certain selection. I think it gave you a certain selection to choose from, and you had to pick like a new one every so many seconds or bars in the music or whatnot.
I cheat.
But yeah, Just Dance, not bad. Super Smash Bros. Series.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean,
classic party.
What can be said about Super Smash Brothers that hasn't already been said before when it comes to party games? Because you have the ability. I mean, when you play it, me and you, I think we play it a little more serious, not super serious or anything like that, but a little serious in the fact that we turn off weapons, right? Like, I will.
You mean items?
I mean items, not weapons. Well, I mean they're weapons and items. Anyways, so I will turn off the items and I'll play one-on-one on the Final Destination and try to, do
with your amiibo character.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I used to fight against my amiibos.
I did too.
Like
I did. Yeah, I totally did. So I would try to like get really, really good at the game. But every once in a while, I turned on everything and I turned it on high and I made a terrible stage with trampolines everywhere. And I just had a ball. Just
like on the Wii game where you could make your own stages?
Yeah, on the Wii game. I even on the Wii U, we could make stages. Could we not make stages on the Wii U? Am I going crazy?
Actually, maybe that feature kind of
I might be going crazy right now.
Oh my gosh.
No, you
could.
We're
both going crazy.
You could totally.
On the gamepad.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have to go check this out now.
Blind hostility, if you're still there, help us.
Save us. Thank goodness for Google, I guess. Wii U Smash Bros.
Smash.
Stage.
What else were we going to talk about, though?
Oh, yeah, it was called Stage Builder. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was there.
This was a thing. This was definitely a thing that people did, and we did this on Wii U. Okay. You had me scared.
Oh, you put Rayman Rabbids on here, but for me, like even like Rayman Origins and Legends and any kind of platformer, like side-scrolling platformer that allowed 4 people. There was a phase where I was having parties where we just played like New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We had a ball with those too.
Mario for the Wii U. Right, with 4-player
Super Mario 3D World.
That as well. But not only Super Mario 3D World, but also New Super Mario Brothers U and New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii. Being able to play 4-player
is getting re-released on the Switch. So
right, isn't that crazy? I feel like that is such an oddball release. Why not? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's
why not put Super Mario 3D World on the Switch, Nintendo?
Why not Nintendo?
That is a completely different topic.
Why not Nintendo?
It is a little weird.
Tell me.
put Xenoblade Chronicles X and
slow down.
Tokyo Mirage.
Okay, slow down.
Wonderful 101. Pikmin 3.
Okay, stop. No more.
All the Wii U games on Switch, please, Nintendo.
It's pretty funny that back in the day we would make fun of people on like PS4 and Xbox and be like, all you guys do is get ports of games. And now we're like, please give us ports. Lots and lots of ports.
I just want Wii U ports because the Wii U died. I think everybody wants Wii U ports because so few people actually bought the Wii U.
I want a Wii U port of like everything because I don't want to put my Wii U out anymore. I want to literally put it away.
Yeah.
I want to put it away and say goodbye forever. That's what I want to do. And I can't.
Except for Nintendo Land. I guess you can't really port that easily.
We'll figure it out. You know what, Holly? I think this has been a really fun talk about party games. I think that there's still a ton of stuff that we could say, obviously.
It felt like a party.
I mean,
party podcast.
We were so surprised that it was like a surprise party every 5 seconds. I was like, oh my gosh! It was fantastic.
Jackbox party! You haven't played!
Boom blocks!
Boom blocks!
Oh my gosh, this is so great. My voice hurts so bad.
And that is a good sign to
end the
cut
podcast.
It off here.
Yes, it is. Oh my god, this has been a blast.
Good
Holly,
times.
Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it as always. Obviously,
my pleasure.
Thanks
for streaming it and doing all the technical side of things.
Thanks for dealing with other stuff that I don't have to as much. It's awesome. We make a good team. You do stuff, I do stuff,
yes.
And then together we create a podcast. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We are a weekly podcast every Friday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We are the podcast that will cool that fever for all things Nintendo that you have. You can find us on Twitter at Nintendo Fever, and you can find us right here on YouTube, obviously. Holly, where can the people of the internet find you?
Primarily on Twitter at Lil Red Koopa, Lil Red Koopa.
Very nice. You can find me on Twitter as well at only Matt Dezen. And you can find me on Facebook occasionally stalking all sorts of things. Just look for my face and you'll find me. But I probably won't friend you. Not trying to be rude, but
you can follow.
Yeah, I used to friend like everybody on Facebook, and then my friends list got to be this unbelievable thing, and it's like I don't know any of
5,000 people.
I didn't know any of these people. Like I had like 1 million people that were friends, and I was like, I don't know you. Why are you my friend? I'm just kidding. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for participating. We will have an audio version of this show that goes up regularly very soon. I promise you. I will get on top of that with Holly, and if you can listen to the show, just minimize the window, and then you don't got to look at our mugs. But that's about all I have. Holly, do you got anything else to say?
Keep your eyes peeled, especially on the Twitter account, for news of the Discord server. I'm sorry that I haven't gotten that out yet, but we're working on it. It exists. So we're just kind of trying to organize it and make it a good server to start out, get a strong start. So keep an eye out on Twitter for that.
Hopefully next week we will be playing games before the show.
Yes.
Before the show starts.
With the listeners.
And we'll be talking, and we'll be having a blast, and we'll be having a party. Especially if my voice is better than this. For sure we will.
I'll be chatting on the Discord, but I'm afraid I'll probably be playing The World Ends With You solo while I do that.
Is that out next week?
It is Friday next week. Next podcast.
I need more money. I need more money so badly. Okay.
This is only $50.
That's Holly. $50 is not a cheap amount of money. That's a lot of money.
No, it's not, but it's cheaper than $60.
I mean, I guess technically. Okay, guys, we're out of here. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, go and hit that 1-up button above your head.
Goodbye, people. Keep it real.